and we can teach as we go. If someone would record, I would appreciate it. All right, cool, thank you. All right, as said, the intent for these meetings is mission planning team calls for the tropical storm that is headed our way. We will run these on a regular basis, same time, every day from now until at least Tuesday, if not longer, as needed. Yes, so what we'll go through today is Lauren will give a brief about the situation. Then we'll go through the volunteer leaders will be heading up on the mission planning team. We'll go into state callouts, and we'll also talk about our current actions as they are, and then we'll do a leadership brief out. So with that said, let's kick Lauren, if you give a brief out of what the current situation is.
All right, looks like the screen is sharing. So we're currently looking at, it's currently a tropical depression 9. It should strengthen to a tropical storm over the next few hours, and when it does, it will be named Ida, as Jim mentioned. Its current track shows it moving over the Cayman Islands overnight tonight, then on to Cuba as a tropical storm tomorrow, and then it's going to enter the Gulf where it's going to strengthen. It's now looking like it'll strengthen to a hurricane by Saturday. And then, we're already seeing the track has shifted and the timing has changed from just a few hours ago. So now it's looking, at least current projections are showing landfall a little farther to the east than a few hours ago, but looking at kind of southeastern, south central between the two of Louisiana, and then rolling right over Baton Rouge, and then heading on kind of that northern track, and then curving kind of northeastern as it goes up. It's now anticipated to make, or projected to make, landfall as a Category 2 storm, seeing with those winds over 100 miles per hour when it starts approaching the Louisiana coast. And another thing that has changed is it's now projected to make landfall Sunday afternoon. So that's pushed up a little bit than initially anticipated. That being said, the track has continued to change. Initially, when the storm or the low pressure system was first identified, it was showing going, potentially making landfall in Mexico, then shifting to Texas, and it's really just been shifting that track a little bit east. So a lot of the factors are going to be in there just because the projection is here right at the moment. There's a lot of other factors put into play. There's a high pressure system out in the Atlantic, a low pressure system potentially coming down from the north, and it's really going to just depend on the timing of these that'll really dictate when that landfall and that location and what that will look like in the coming days. But that's currently what it looks like. And just kind of a reiteration of last year, this is just looking at the tracks of storms from 2020. And as we know, there was a lot of activity, especially focused on the Louisiana area, with Hurricane Laura as a Category 4 being, the largest one that had the greatest amount of impact, but these others did have impact as well. So obviously touching an area that has had a lot of impacts, both hurricanes recently, but also reminding everybody of the flooding that did occur in the spring into the summer. So just another area that we traditionally see, additional impacts with a lot of just potential for increased impacts to occur. With that, I will pass it back to you, Jim.
You're muted, Jim.
Turn it off. So we'll start the mission planning team calls out every day with a situation update, either from Lauren, Adam, or one of their team members. Then we'll go into government relations, and what we'll talk about today, because Tiffany is still out, we'll go into the states. So we'll start with Evan Witt, if you would give us an idea of what you're up to and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jim. So guys, I'm Evan Witt. I'm Ops Associate for Louisiana and Arkansas. So we have jump-started our communications with both the state and New Orleans, and we are continuing to make contact with the emergency managers in Lafayette and Baton Rouge specifically. So in comms with NOCEP in New Orleans, they're currently monitoring the storm and have disclosed no unmet needs at the time. There is no current watches or warnings in place, but they are jump-starting our initial VOAD call tomorrow afternoon, and we will have members of our team on that one. The Louisiana State VOAD is in GOSEP in general is currently monitoring the storm, and no calls are currently scheduled, but as soon as they are, our team is going to ensure we have a TR representative on those. I've reached out to all of our contacts and including the state and letting them know that we're monitoring the storm and we're pre-staging our resources and have not heard back quite at this time. Any additional communications that we get from them, and that is it for me, Jim.
Thanks, Evan. Jimmy, who represents Mississippi and Alabama.
Hey, folks. Like Jim said, I'm Ops Associate for Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. We have started today conducting outreach. We have successfully had replies from both Mississippi and Alabama State EM offices. At this time, Alabama is going to just monitor unless it shifts east. And Mississippi is likely going to be standing up their EOC tomorrow. So we have folks in place if we want to. They don't need backfill currently in the EOC. They don't foresee that happening. But if we want to place someone in the EOC, we have those contacts identified. That is all that we have. VOAD outreach has been done in both Mississippi and Alabama. I anticipate hearing back from those folks either this evening or first thing in the morning. That's all I've got. Thanks, Jim.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. From there, we'll move into mission planning. Sandy, if you're on the call, introduce yourself, please.
Hey, Jim. I'll be covering for mission planning today. Right now, teams are currently looking to send out a route clearance response. They're planning for it to be staged at the southeastern side of Louisiana, setting enough folks for 2 of those teams. And we're looking to have them pre-staged by Saturday evening and looking to run for about 10 days afterwards.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to field leadership.
Evening, everybody. Jeff Branham. I'll be with field leadership currently right now, trying to identify availability for recon personnel should they be needed. Other than that, we are just monitoring the situation and battening down the hatches.
Thanks, Jeff. Mobilization.
Good afternoon, team. This is Claudia Suarez from South Branch Mobilization. Today we have gathered availability of South Branch mobilization leaders and also asked the mobilization leaders of the West Branch and North Branch to stand by for support. Additionally, we've built out the call to action targeting the route clearance. The composition of the route clearance is intended to be 1 task force leader, 1 HESI, 1 HE2 CTL, 1 Sawyer 2, 1 Advanced Sawyer 1, 3 Advanced Sawyer 1s, and 1 EMT. Our goal is to have the route clearance team on ground no later than 1300 on Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Claudia. Logistics.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anthony with the logistics team. We currently have reservations for the Alabama and Houston trailers, truck-wise. Those won't be picked up until maybe Monday. We do have a reservation for a truck in Hammond, Louisiana, which will be picked up tomorrow. We also have 3 available tech kits to be sent out if needed. Another 3 are currently deployed.
All right. Thanks. And covered tech also. Appreciate that. So let's go into finance.
Hi, everybody. John DeToma, finance for South Branch. Been in contact with the finance operations associate there at the NOC, who has secured $30,000 from the senior director of finance to be that's in the PEX funding account. And then we'll be working with also TJ has, I understand TJ has or is in the process of establishing $10,000 into a petty cash fund that will be available immediately when the op kicks off, as well as identifying PEX card holders to ensure that their cards are activated and ready for funding as soon as those folks are identified. That's it.
Thanks, John. Moving on to Marcoms.
We are on deck to create some monitoring creative, and we will be keeping an eye on everything over the weekend. We're also reaching out to see if we can potentially start a recruiting campaign to get some more gray shirts into the fold, and we're just standing by ready to support. Back to you.
Thank you. DevOps.
Sorry, trouble with the mute button. Good afternoon, everyone. Dev's working on our email calendar for the storm. We'll probably send something out Friday or Saturday in alignment with Marcom's monitoring post. And then besides that, just standing by to support. Thanks.
Thanks, Danielle. From here on our mission planning calls, we'll go into leadership wrap up. I'm sorry, we'll ask for questions and alibis going forward. Again, this meeting should be for report outs. Majority of work should be happening before this, but for the purpose of this call, we'll leave a point for questions and alibis, and then we'll go into leadership. So let's start with Drew, then myself, then Jeff for leadership wrap up.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'll try to be brief. Just a quick reminder, some rules of the road. Please keep all traffic related to this event to the mission planning channel and the Gray Skies team. If you're not sure what that is, please get with me after this call. I will happily direct you. Also, please, I love fun as much as the next guy, but keep all of the great memes, videos, etc., cat pictures, everything else that we all love to joke about. Please do keep that out of that channel. Let's keep it focused onto the business at hand, which is kicking the crap out of the storm, and business is good. Please do aggressively raise issues and roadblocks as you encounter them. As you can tell, the organization is leaning into this. This is a situation we anticipate to develop pretty rapidly. So we're leaning forward into it because we know that we don't have a lot of time to prepare with before Sunday impacts. You've heard all the anticipated needs from across the various teams. We need mission planners, we need EOC liaisons, we need recon members, and we need route clearance ass kickers. So if you're not sure how to make yourself useful, get with one of the folks who just spoke on this call. They've got a job for you. We have a great place for you to make an impact over this weekend. So thank you so much. Let's do it.
All right, Drew. So for me, I'll let you guys know that the op support, the South Branch op support team is going to be moving into the NOC over the next couple of days. I'll be going out tomorrow, and between Friday and Saturday, we'll be in place to coordinate with the op support branch to support our gray shirt leaders. That's all I have. I'll go to Jeff and then Art if he has anything to add.
Yeah, good afternoon, team. Appreciate everybody jumping on the call. You know, we were, seems like we were on a similar call with South Branch not too long ago with Tennessee. As you can see, you know, we're doing the mission planning, not really different, but a little different format. So as Jim alluded to, most of the South Branch teams headed to the NOC. I'll be headed down there as well. But I want to make some points of clarity. You know, I know we get into, you know, who's leading, who's in this. You're leading the operation. Volunteer leaders, y'all are leading the operation. Everybody else is going to support that. A little bit about my psyche. I like to be aggressive. The only thing we can't get back is time, and the time's already clicking. The clock's already started on this. So we need to move aggressively. We need to move smartly, communicate early and often. And then what I run through my head, you know, on these reports is what, so what, now what? Okay, what's the situation? So what does that mean to Team Rubicon? Where are the needs? Where are the gaps? And then now what? That's the most important. What are we doing about it? to meet the needs safely but aggressively. So I appreciate us leaning forward. Let's continue to lean forward. Again, communicate early and often. You can't over communicate. Don't assume. And let's, as Drew said, send all cat memes to Drew, and we'll continue to move on. I look forward to seeing you in the field. That's all I got, Jim. Turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Jeff. Art, if you have anything to add.
No, just thanks to everyone for this. We're ahead of the game, and we're ahead of the game because we're on this call now, and people have a bias towards action. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Remember, this is not new. Lauren showed that spaghetti chart. Underneath that spaghetti chart are relationships we've made. There are places that housed us last year. There's points of contact. There's AARs. There's lessons learned. So don't be afraid to leverage any of those. I think Drew did a really great job of kind of capturing where we're at. Again, and remember, there's real value in looking backwards too, especially when we're roughly in the same spot potentially again as we do this. A final note is don't forget that every operation since March of 2020 has been a COVID operation. This chunk of the country in particular is blazing red. So it's going to have different problems. Anyone who's paid attention to, as an example, the Gulf Coast knows that those hospitals are overwhelmed. And if you haven't thought about how things are different when you have to move a hospital or a nursing home, imagine what it looks like when basically the entire thing is an ICU, from hallways to closets to this. Those are the types of things that, as we begin to look at this, can make what Jim talked about, or Jeff talked about, which is velocity, efficacy and effectiveness in the field. Those would be the little things we think about that make it go smoother for us and our volunteers, and ultimately for the people we serve. So thanks in advance for all you're doing. Love this team and love that we're ahead like this. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for making it. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Again, get with your functional teams and continue your work and your preparation for what's coming. Thank you. We'll stick on if any of the leaders need to ask any questions or anyone has any questions.
Leah, add and induce.
Hi there.
John always forgets to mute, and I always forget to unmute. So I'll leave it open. You guys have any questions? You guys are the pointy end of the stick. Any questions about where we're moving with this? All right.